Friday morning, boys and girls. It's trivia day. And again, we had a lot of participation, but I'm going to, after we're done with the video, talk about where some of your mistakes came. So this trivia was a better buy trivia. And you know, we did a lot of those in class. And for the most part, we used ratio tables. So I thought that that's how most of you would solve it. We were talking about getting packages of CDs, and they wanted to know where the girl could get the better buy on the CD packages. So at Cal's Computer City, she could get 20 for $3.80. At Sal's Office Supplies, she could get 50 for $10.80. And at Dave's Digital Outlet, she could get 75 for $15. So I set up the ratio tables, and now you just have to decide how you're going to be able to compare them. So when I did it, I looked at 20, 50, and 75, and I thought, oh, I could get them pretty easily. I could get them to 100. So I knew that in order to go from 20 to 100, I had to multiply by 5. And if I did that to the top, I would have to do this to the bottom. I would have to multiply by 5 as well. And so, as we've been doing, I can do 380 times 5. And 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 8 is 40, put down the 0, carry the 4, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4 more is 19. Now, it's $3.80, so that means it's 2 place values less than 1,900, and if I move that over 2 place values, I see that it is $19. So, at Cal's, I know that I could get 100 CDs for $19. When I look at Sal's Office Supply, I know that that's very easy. If I multiply 50 times 2, that means that I'm going to double 1080. And if I do that, I'll be at $21.60. So right away, I know that Cal's is the better buy when we're choosing between Cal's and Sal's. 75 was a little bit more difficult. So I tried to figure out, okay, how can I get it to 100? Well, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna divide 75 by 3. Because if I do that, I know that I can get to 25. Okay, and if I divide that by 3, I need to divide 15 by 3, and then I would get $5. So for every 25, it's going to cost $5, looking at my ratio table. Now here's where a lot of you made a mistake. Some of you thought that you could add the same to the top and bottom, and you can't do that. You can multiply and divide, but to add and subtract, you have to use these numbers here. So I can say 75 plus 25 will give me 100, and if I do that, 15 plus 5 will give me $20. So now I can compare each one of them. For $100 at Cal's, it will cost me $19. At Sal's, it will cost me $21.60. And at Dave's, it's going to cost me $20. So I know that Cal's Computer City is the best buy. Okay, I'm going to stop here and talk a little bit about what went wrong with some of yours. Unfortunately, you broke my heart because some of you put that 20 for $3.80 was the better buy. But the question specifically asked what store. And so unless you gave the names of one of these, I couldn't give you credit for having the right answer. Your math was great, but you have to answer the question that they ask. So unfortunately, some of you didn't do that. The other thing that I mentioned before is you thought that if I added 10 to 25 to get 35, I could add 10 to $5 and get $5.10. It doesn't work that way. Multiply and divide over the top, do the same thing to the top and bottom, but when you're adding and subtracting, you're going across these numbers. Okay, so that was one way. I chose to get it to 100 to compare them all. But I liked this. Some people went to 300. They took it a little bit further and they got all of them to 300. And then some people saw that they could get it to 10 very easily. So let's take a look at that. So if I went from 20 to 10, I would now be dividing by 2 or cutting it in half. And so then I would have to do the same thing to $3.80. I know that half of $3 is $1.50 and half of 80 is 40 cents. And so that would be $1.90 for 10. And then here, I know if I want to go to 10, now I have to divide by 5 to get there. And so that means I have to divide this by 5. And so if I want to do that, I know that if I divide 5 into 10, that would be $2. And then if I divide 5 into 80, let's see, I know that if I had 8, if I had 8 groups of 5, it would be 40, so it must be 16 groups of 5, and so this would be $2.16. And then I looked at 75. Again, a little bit harder, but let's do this. Let's divide this by 3. Again, we know that that's 25. And if we divide $15 by 3, we get 5. And then if I divide this by 5, 25 by 5, I get 5. And if I divide this by 5, I get 1. And so then if I want to get it to 10, I know I have to double this to get to 10. So I'm going to multiply that by 2, and I'm going to multiply this by 2, and I'm going to get $2. I should actually put the decimal point in so that you can see, but I ran out of room. So here, if I want to buy 10, it's $1.90, which I can easily see if I had gotten 100, how I could cut it down to 10 by going down one place value. Here it's $2.16, and here it's just $2. So that would be another way that we could do it. Ratio tables really work, but a few of you made the mistake of trying to add to the top and bottom, and you can't. You have to use the existing numbers to add or subtract. All right, and then the final way that some of you did it is you just used straight up division. Now, we haven't done division yet, but I'm assuming some of you worked with your parents or you did it the way you did it in 4th grade, and so we're going to talk about that in a second. But I have to tell you that if you just told me the answers in the division and you didn't show me any work that went into dividing, that you didn't get credit. So even though you got the right answer, if you didn't show me how you got it, that's the rule that's always been true for trivia. And so unfortunately, you aren't in the bucket if you didn't show me any of your work. So much like multiplication, we can make-believe that we're dividing with whole numbers and then adjust our answers by adjusting the place values. So first I'm going to say, okay, how many groups of 20 can I pull out of 380? Well, I know that 20 times 5 equals 100. So if I pull 5 groups out, I'm going to take out 100 and I'm going to get 280. Well, if that's true, then 20 times 10 is 200. If I pull 10 groups out, so I can take 200 out of there, and then I only have 80 left. And then I know that 20 times 4 equals 80. And so the answer that goes up here, if this is 380, would be 10 plus 5 plus 4, and so it would be 19. But again, we didn't have $380. We had $3.80. So we have to adjust it to place values. If we adjust $19 to place values, we end up with 19 cents each, and this is Cal's. Okay, then we go to Sal's, and we do the same thing. Okay, if, let's say I want to pull, so how many times can I do this? Let's look at 50 times 20. So I know 5 times 2 equals 10, and then I move up 2 place values. That gives me 1,000. So let's take 1,000 out of that now, and we're left with 80. So if I pull 20 groups of 5 out, I will have 80 left over. But I know I can do 50 times 1 equals 50, and I could pull 50 out. And then I would have 30 left over. So right now, I know that I have 20, and I have 1, and then I have a little bit more. If I were to add a 0 here, I know I could pull 6 groups out. So 50 times 6 equals 300. All right, but we have to be careful now. So we have to say, okay, 21, 6. Okay. But then I added an extra 0 on so that I could take 300 out. I have to move this over now. 3 place values, 1, 2, 3. And so it ends up being almost 22 cents. Okay, because remember when we're talking about money, it only goes 2 places past the decimal point. So this is 19 cents. This is about 22 cents. So this Cal's is definitely winning right now for the cheapest, and let's take a look at this. All right, 75. So let's say I want to pull out 10, and that gives me 750. So if I do 750 and I subtract, I'm going to have 750 left over. So 75 times 10 is another 750. And I end up with 0. I pulled 10 groups out here, 10 groups out here. That's 20. But that would be if it was 1,500. It's 2 place values less. So I know at Dave's, it's 20 cents. So very quickly again, we can look and see that Cal's is the better buy. So those are the ways that you could have done it. Again, if you don't show me your work, you're not in the bucket. So let's talk about who's in the bucket. Alrighty, So for my class, we have Audrey, Nick, Rachel, Owen, Braden, and Allie in the bucket. And we did have one person who did the division, but did not show any of their work. So even though they got the correct answer, they weren't in the bucket. And let's see who the winner is. Okay. So the winner is Braden. Congratulations, Braden. I'm very happy for you. Okay, next from Mrs. Heath's class, we had several people who did it this time. I'm really, really happy about that. But this class needs to be very careful about answering the correct question. So in the bucket we have Hayden and Toby. Some people didn't show enough work. Others put down that it was that 20 for 380 was the best buy. But again, it asked what store. And so unless you gave me the name of the store, you didn't get in the bucket. Again, you didn't get in the bucket if you didn't show any work. So just really make sure that, and this goes for everybody, that you look very carefully at what the question is asking, and you make sure you answer that question. Otherwise, you don't get in the bucket. But congratulations to Hayden and Toby. And let's see who this is. Dun, 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 dun. Toby. Congratulations, Toby. Good job. Okay. And then finally from Mrs. Sullivan's class. Again, we had some people that didn't show any work. But in the bucket is Sophie, Colin, Aiden, and Harrison. So congratulations to you. And let's see who the winner is from Mrs. Sullivan's class. And the winner is Colin W. So again, congratulations to all of you. And so my big warning coming out of this one is, even if you get the correct answer, but if you don't show your work, or you don't answer the correct question, or you do the math process wrong, I can't give you credit, because if you remember, in school, you have to be able to come up and show how you got that answer. So if you got the answer but your math was wrong, I wouldn't let you pick from the prize drawer. And that's the same thing here. If your math isn't correct, then you aren't going to be the winner. So please, please, please continue to try trivia and make sure that your math is correct and that you are answering the correct question. Congratulations to all of you. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Remember, I am sending a quick worksheet to do on the multiplication algorithm, so you can send that back to me sometime today if you get a chance. Bye-bye, boys and girls.